You haven't opened the back door yet. You haven't filled the feeder. You haven't made a sound. You're still standing at the kitchen window in the early quiet, coffee in hand, and they're already there. The chickadee on the branch closest to the feeder. The cardinal at the edge of the yard, facing the house. The pair of juncos working the ground beneath where the seeds fall. Most people look at that scene and feel something warm, and leave it at that. A nice moment, a small gift before the day starts. What they don't know, what almost nobody thinks to ask, is why the birds are already positioned before anything has happened. Before the door opens, before the seed drops, before you've given them a single reason to be there. The answer is not instinct. It is not coincidence. It is not that birds are simply always somewhere and this is where they happen to be. The birds are there because they have been watching you. Not vaguely, not passively, specifically. Your schedule, your sounds, your movements, your moods, your patterns, all of it has been observed, processed, and stored in a way that shapes where those birds are standing right now. Welcome to Secret Life of Birds. Subscribe before you leave, because what you are about to learn is happening in your yard every single morning, and you have been living inside it without knowing the full shape of it. Today, we are going through 6 things you do every single morning that your birds have already memorized. Not 6 things you do at the feeder. 6 things you do as part of your ordinary morning. Things you have never once thought of as information you were giving to a bird. Stay until the end, because the 6th one is the one that changes how you understand every morning you have ever spent with your birds, and it is the one most people say they wish they had known sooner. Number 1, the time you wake up. This is the one that surprises people most when they first hear it, because it seems impossible. How would a bird know when you wake up? You haven't gone outside, you haven't made a sound they could hear, the house is still dark. But research on anticipatory behavior in backyard birds, particularly studies conducted at Cornell's Lab of Ornithology and supported by long-term field observations in suburban environments, has documented something that is difficult to explain away. Birds that regularly interact with a specific human at a specific location begin positioning themselves in anticipation of that human's appearance well before the human appears. In one long-term study of corvids at a suburban feeding site, individual crows were documented adjusting their position in the yard and producing specific contact calls up to 12 minutes before a familiar caretaker arrived. Not 12 seconds, 12 minutes. The behavior was specific to that person and did not occur with other humans who passed through the area. The mechanism is not mysterious once you understand it. Birds are extraordinarily sensitive to the rhythms of their environment. Light levels, ambient sound patterns, the behavior of other animals in the area. All of these shift in subtle ways as a household wakes up. A light turning on inside a house, the sound signature of a coffee maker, vibrations from movement on a floor above ground level. None of these are sounds we think of as signals. All of them are information to an animal whose survival has always depended on reading its environment with precision. Your birds do not know what time it is in the way you do. What they know is the sequence of events that precedes your appearance, and they have learned that sequence so thoroughly that they begin moving toward their positions before the sequence is complete. The next time you look out your kitchen window first thing in the morning and find them already there, understand what you are looking at. You are looking at the result of weeks or months of observation. You are looking at birds who started moving toward you before you finished waking up. Number 2, the path you walk through your yard. Go outside tomorrow morning and walk the path you always walk. From the back door to the feeder, then to wherever you go next. The garden, the far corner, the patio. Walk it the way you always walk it, without thinking about it, the way you have walked it 100 times. Then watch what the birds do. If they know you, and if you have been consistent and calm in your yard they do, many of them will reorient as you move. A cardinal that was facing east will turn to face you. A chickadee will shift its position on the branch to keep you in its line of sight without flying away. The birds that are feeding will continue feeding, but adjust their angle to maintain peripheral awareness of your position. This is called subject tracking, and it is not the same as the vigilance birds direct toward predators. Predators are tracked with alarm. You are being tracked with something closer to monitoring, the continuous, low-urgency awareness that an animal maintains toward a known individual in its environment, whose behavior is relevant but not threatening. Ornithologists studying this behavior in garden birds noted something that has stayed with me since I first read it. Birds that are highly familiar with a specific person track that person differently when the person does something outside their established pattern. If you walk a different route, if you stop somewhere you don't usually stop, if you move more slowly or more quickly than usual. In those moments...
Number 5. Whether you look at them. This one is subtle. It is easy to miss. But once you start paying attention to it, you will see it everywhere. Birds notice when you look at them. Not in the vague sense that they register your general orientation. In the specific sense that direct eye contact from a human produces a measurable change in bird behavior that is different from the change produced by a human looking away. The mechanics of this are straightforward. Direct eye contact signals predatory attention in the animal world. A predator that has locked its gaze on a specific target is a predator that has selected that target. Birds have evolved to be acutely sensitive to directed gaze for exactly this reason. But here is what the research adds that most people do not know. Birds that are highly familiar with a specific trusted human develop a modified response to that human's gaze. The baseline alarm that eye contact triggers in unfamiliar interactions diminishes with time and positive experience. In its place, something researchers have described as investigative orientation develops. The bird looking back, directing its own focused gaze at the human, in a way that reads less like alarm and more like mutual awareness. What this means in practice is this. The chickadee that looks directly at your face while you are standing at the window is not alarmed by your attention. It has processed your gaze as the gaze of a known, safe individual and responded with its own form of looking back. It is checking on you. It is registering you specifically. It is doing something that has no precise human equivalent, but that sits in the same neighborhood as acknowledgement. The morning practice of standing at your window and watching your birds is not one-directional.